I made this clock in my garage in under 10 hours, from design all the way through assembly. And if you don't think that's insane, by the end of this video, hopefully you understand why I at least think it's the coolest thing ever. Just let me explain. I've been getting better at making things, and I have experience on, a bunch of different machines thanks to this channel. And if you've been watching, I just got this Makera Z1 CNC machine, and it expanded what I can do in my garage now. So I wanted to put everything I know to the test to see the limits of my capabilities. So let's get into it. My goal was to back my way into a product after identifying a few things that this build needs to accomplish. The first thing was creating something useful that uses as many different ways of creating as possible. So that means 3D printing, CNC, UV printing, and maybe lasers, but I haven't really decided on that last one yet. Next, I thought about materials. I love wood and metal combinations, and that will be the looks piece of this build, while I want to explore plastics for things like housings. And I also have this really cool special material I want to test out on my 3D printers. And now my last requirement for this, it should be something desk size that can benefit from premium materials and wouldn't feel out of place in my own home because that's where it's going to live. My first thought was a desk light. This desk light, to be exact. It was something fast, and it used wood, metal, 3D printed plastic, and it's really nice with this brass top. It's something functional too, but this just didn't feel special. My next thing was inspired by watches. I wanted something bigger to sit on my desk, so I landed on a desktop clock inspired by watch design. The design process though was sort of simple. A watch dial in a desktop housing. It started as a circular clock with a two-tiered dial, one simple area for the time markings and another for the complex watch style pattern to, elevate it and make it look more like a high fashion watch and less like a desktop clock. Another issue was I wanted the clock to sit naturally on a desk, and I'm not a designer, so I got nervous about this, but in the software I use, Fusion 360, I just chopped off the bottom of the clock, and to my surprise, I feel like it looked good, because it still felt like it's supposed to be a circle, but it also felt naturally at home on a desk. It seems like a silly thing to go on about, but I'm happy it worked out because I'm not a professional designer, but I made something that looks intentional around the limitations that I have. In total, the design took about 6 hours, but now it's on to what materials I want to use. I wanted the wood to closely match my bamboo desktop, so I went with maple. The maple piece took about 20 minutes to machine. And next, I wanted the detailed watch-inspired part to feel as premium as possible, and I took a hint from this light actually and made it brass. And the brass piece took another 40 minutes to machine, but it could have been 10 if I was an expert in CNC machining. But finally, it's time for the dial. And I decided to make this aluminum so that it could read as easily as possible, and milling the aluminum only took about 30 minutes too. But then the last metal piece of this is the copper hands, because I wanted them to be completely different from every other material so they can read easier. And I decided to film the entire process using this machine from design to final product on these hands, and it took no more than 15 minutes basically. And I was afraid of copper, so I ran things very slowly, but the cut could have only been 2 minutes. To hold the generic clock movement I got from Michaels, I made a 3D printed cover for the back out of ABS plastic. And finally, my favorite little Easter egg. I used another 3D printer filament. It's really cool. This is Prusa's Ultra Glow filament. I made a video on it before, but it's insanely bright, and it gives more of that watch feel if you've ever had a watch that had a luminescent ring around it. And all of these 3D printed parts took an hour in total, so not much time at all. And now finally, I just need to print some markings on the dial, and I used the Eufy Make E1 for that. It took about 7 minutes, and then I assembled it. Okay, so for me, that alone is impressive, but let me break down why I think this is especially cool. Before I do though, I have a channel first that will help me make more project-based videos because they're so resource intensive. And this isn't something I've ever said before, but special thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring this video and for supporting the channel. They're a great resource for makers who don't have a garage full of machines, but you might have a 3D printer, but you want 2 CNC metal parts, or you might have a nice CNC, but you want to make a run of plastic components and housings. That's where PCBWay steps in. They have their 12th anniversary sale where you can get coupons and great deals up until August 1st, so check them out. And thanks again to PCBWay. All right, on to my biggest takeaway from this build. Wood is just wood. It's maple, it's nice, I like it, but low-cost hobby machines have been doing that for a while. But cutting 3mm thick brass on a small machine at home and making this aluminum piece from 5mm thick aluminum and cutting copper hands, all at home is the impressive part. Machines that fit on a workbench that are easy to use have not been around forever. I mean, the auto probing on the Z1 mixed with automated profiles and easy tool changes, dust extraction. It's all of those parts that impress me. It sounds like an ad for it, it's not, but I really am impressed with the machine. Now, outside of the CNC machines, having 3D printers that are real workhorses in your home only started being a thing over the past 7 to 10 years. And having printers that can do it fast and reliably is the biggest leap we've had. Look at the Core 1L. It has a 60 degrees Celsius heated chamber, a hard nozzle, and moves fast, has a camera built in. It's still open source and customizable. It can print just about anything you throw at it. And it's not the only printer in its category. There are competitors that do a really great job. The Core 1L is my favorite in the category personally, but I'm biased and I don't hide that, so take that for what you will. Finally though, the latest in maker tech is the new wave of consumer-grade UV printers. I wanted to mark this aluminum and it was incredibly simple. I even added a protective varnish to it so that the markings don't get scratched or messed up over time. This has been in my backpack for a while and it looks the same as the day I made it. And all of this in about 5 minutes. Technology has come incredibly far. In one small garage, I have machines that 10 years ago would be tens of thousands of dollars, and they would be housed in some industrial shop. Now, it's a fraction of the cost and people can do it for fun, and it's getting more and more accessible. Let's break down the numbers though, because I actually looked into this and it's crazy how much things have changed since 2016, 10 years ago. In 2016, a 3D printer that can print all the same materials as the Core 1L cost between $8,000 to $10,000. So let's call it $9,000 for something enclosed with a chamber temp of 60°C, a nozzle temp of at least 290 or higher, and some of the quality of life features like the auto bed leveling and things like that that the Core 1L has. That same year, for a desktop CNC, with a weaker spindle, mind you, you'd be looking at $3,000 instead of the $1,000 that the Z1 is. And that's without all the creature comforts that something like a modern machine has. Lastly, the UV printing. A desktop UV printer didn't really exist 10 years ago. And something that could do the same thing that the UV Make does would cost you around $20,000 at the very low end, and realistically closer to $25,000. Without the automatic maintenance features, they're a ton of work to deal with. And unless you're a relatively decent sized business, you're not going to own one, or you wouldn't before now. What does all of this mean though? Well, it means that 10 years ago, if I wanted to make this in my garage, I would need around $35,000 in equipment. And today, I need about $5,000. And frankly, I could go even cheaper with lower quality printers and CNC machines, but that brings it down to $3,000 or $4,000. That's my biggest lesson here. The fact that anything is possible for so much less than just 10 years ago. So go out and create. And all the files for these builds will be either on printables, and if you're CNC machining, on Makerables. The links will be in the description. All right, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.